Hi everyone, welcome to Monday Motivation with Avantii Uzor, yours sincerely. I'm so glad to have you join me on the show today. You guys make this worthwhile. And thank you for being a part of this awesome new beginning for me because today is my debut show with Omega Studios. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining me on today's show. And we're going to get right into today's business. Today we'll be talking about the power of association. But before we do that, I'd like to find out how your day has been, how your week has been, your weekend. I hope your weekend has been great. I hope you've had a blessed weekend. Don't forget to chat me up on the comment section and let me know. I wanna know how you're doing. And that's one of the reasons why we come on here every Monday for this show called Monday Motivation, because we want to get you ready and fired up for your week. So you go into your week excited, you go into your week motivated, you go into your week ready to win. We're going to go back to the topic for today, which is power of association. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I just want to share with you what I mean by the power of association. And my text scripture for today is 1 Samuel 22 from verse 2. 1 Samuel 22 from verse 2. And this is talking about David when he became king. I don't know if you know a little bit of the background story of King David. After he was anointed king and Saul was looking for him, Saul wanted to kill him. And Jonathan, which was David's son, happened to know, and after David told him, so David ran away and went into a cave to go hide. When he went to the cave, after he went to the cave, this is what happened. In 1 Samuel chapter 22 verse 2, it says, everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, and gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them, and there were with him about 400 men. So, first of all, of course, we know David, of course, nobody's going to be happy going to a cave to stay there. So he kind of drew other people that were almost in the same situation with him. They gathered themselves to him. Not only that, the scripture says in verse 3, and David went there to Mizpah of Moab, and he said unto the king of Moab, let my father and my mother, I pray thee, come forth and be with you, till I know what God will do for me. So that means his father and his mother also went with him when he was leaving, along with his brothers, because his brothers used to be in the army in Saul's army, Israel's army. They used to be with him, but all of them went with him. And because they went with him, he was able to also cater for them. Because at that time, I'm pretty sure, if his parents didn't go, his family didn't go, they would have probably been killed. So because they gathered themselves together unto him, they were protected. And eventually, the parents had to stay with the king of Moab while David was trying to gather himself. And have you ever noticed that sometimes when you're having a bad day, or maybe you start your Monday, you begin to feel like, oh, it's Monday. Oh my God, it's another day of work. Could it be it's because prior to Monday, maybe over the weekend, you've had some conversations that made you feel like Monday is going to be a drag. Maybe you've heard some things, or you've seen some things, or you remember the workload you are yet to finish, and then you begin to think, oh my God, what am I going to do? Monday is coming. It's going to be a long week. Could that be the reason why? Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you're feeling some kind of way, you're feeling down, and then you go and talk to your friend, and you tell your friend, say, my friend, look, I had a bad day at work today. And your friend is like, oh, me too, also had a bad day at work. And you start sharing. Have you ever noticed how all of a sudden it's like the problem is not as hard as it was, it's not as tough, because you probably share with your friend, and your friend probably told you, oh, this is how I overcame my day. This is how I did these are the things I did that made me feel better. And all of a sudden you feel like, oh, the weight of the problem is lifted off your shoulder. And that's what happened with David. All of these people, they gathered together with him. And I'm going to read verse 5 real quick because something struck out to me on verse 5 where it says, "And the prophet Gad said unto David, Abide not in the hold, depart and get thee into the land of Jordan. Then David departed and came into the forest of Hereth." So, and this is what happened, right? So David, when he was there, the prophet came to tell him, don't stay here. Because information had already gotten to Saul to let Saul know that David was hiding in the hold with his mighty men. So the prophet, because he's a friend of David, came and told David, don't stay here. Run, because Saul is coming. Go somewhere else. What if he didn't have a friend in the prophet that could speak to him good things or could give him like some kind of direction? He could have been there and he could have gotten caught. And that's what happens with a lot of us. Some of us have people around us that are giving us counsel, advising us, telling us, okay, do it this way, do it that way. And sometimes we should listen because they might be giving us really good and valuable counsel that could save our lives or could save us from making a mistake or could protect us in one way or the other. And at the same time, a lot of people have gotten into a lot of trouble because of their association. They've gotten into really, really, really big trouble. And one of those people, I'll tell you who one of those people is. One of those people is Amnon. Amnon was a son of David. He developed a kind of affection for his sister. And when he developed that affection, that's in 2 Samuel chapter 13. I'm going to go ahead and read that too as well, just so we know that, 2 Samuel chapter 13. So we know that these are like things that have happened in the past that we could also learn from. So Amnon developed a kind of affection for his sister. So that scripture is 2 Samuel chapter 13 from verse 1. And if you read the whole story, it was talking about David's son, Amnon, who liked his sister called Tamar. He had a kind of compassion for her. And he was so, I don't know if to call it love or whatever it was that he felt for her. It was so strong. But he had a friend. The scripture, the 2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 3 says, "And Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man." You see that? So sometimes you might have a friend that you think is a good friend, but they are subtle. That's why you have to pay attention, to every counsel or every association you have to know if it's good or if it's bad. And Jonadab said to Amnon, and he said unto him, that's in verse 4, it says, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said unto him, that's verse 5, said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to thee, and said unto thee, and say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come, and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it out of her hand. So the friend gave him an advice and told him, this is what you need to do. Tell your dad that you're sick, and let your dad ask your sister to cook for you, and tell your dad that you want your sister to feed you. And that's what he did. And when the sister came, we know how the story went. He forced his sister and he slept with her. And after he slept with her, his half-brother Absalom was so angry. And for 2 years, his brother planned how he would kill him. And that's how the story of Amnon went. He ended up dying because of that. So if his friend never gave him that bad counsel, if he had a good friend that probably spoke some sense into him, because sometimes we as humans, we think crazy stuff. I'm just being 100% real with you. Sometimes we think crazy stuff. Our mind be playing tricks on us. Our mind plays games on us. So if he was able to listen to somebody who gave him a good counsel, and that person came to him and said, look, don't think about that. She's your sister. What you want to do is wrong. Don't do that. He probably wouldn't have done that, and he probably won't be in the kind of problem he found himself. It cost him his life. If we look around in our society, look around, check people's stories, you'll find out that one or two people have made costly mistakes like that. You know, right now, as I'm talking to you, a story just dropped in my heart. When I was in high school, I had this friend, you know, he was like a really good guy at heart, not a bad person at heart, but he was stubborn and he hung around with some friends of ours that wasn't really so good. And I remember that time, I think it was during Valentine's Day or something funny like that. They wanted to go to the beach to go swim, right? And then they came to the class and they said to us, because then we were preparing for like a GED, so they wanted us to go to the beach and all of that stuff. This was back in my country. And then they came and they told us, the girls, they said, oh, we want to go to the pool. Do y'all want to come? I don't like the pool. Sorry, I don't like the beach. I think it's too scary. So I'm like, no, I'm not going. And we're like, no, we really want to go to the beach. It's going to be fun. Let's go. I said, nope. If my mom finds out, she's going to kill me, so I'm not going. And a friend of mine, she was like my really good friend at that time. We were all in the same class, and she said she wants to go. Matter of fact, the day of the Saturday, she had come to school with spare clothes and everything, and she wanted to go. And she had already planned out how she was going to lie and all of that. And she came to me and she said, oh, I'm going. And I said, you're not going anywhere. She said, no, I really want to go. Don't tell my mom. I said, if you go, I'm going to call. But there was no phones. But I said, if you go, I'm going to go after the class. I'm going to go home to your parents and I'm going to tell them this is what you did. She was so mad at me. Like she was pissed. She didn't talk to me throughout that day in school. Guess what? None of the girls went because I kind of discouraged them. I was like the little party pooper. I discouraged all the girls. I said, y'all don't go. It's too risky. What if something happens in the beach? So they didn't go. None of the girls went. Just the boys went. About 5 or 6 of them went to the beach. This was on a Saturday because we had like weekend after classes, right? On Monday, not all the guys, were like 6 that went to the beach. On Monday, only like 3 of them came to school. But they were very sad. We didn't know why. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, what's going on? They were like, oh, we're fine, we're fine. But somewhere in my heart, I knew something was wrong. And I was like, God, I hope nobody died. I don't know, I just had that thought. I'm like, I hope nobody died. And then next thing, my teacher came into the class. And he called the names of the 3 boys that came to school. And he called them out. And they went out. And the next thing, they all come back with the class teacher. They come back in with the boys' parents. At that point, we kind of knew something was wrong. Because prior to that week, he had gone, back in my country, you're allowed to spank people when they misbehave in school. So he had gotten spanked for, spending his school fees that he was supposed to pay. Long story short, my teacher came into class and they announced that this particular boy in question, he had drowned in the beach. And we were all crying in class. He didn't want to go. He went because his friends asked him to go. And as the story went, boys, how they play. I think they were in the beach, they were pushing each other. And that's how he got drowned. And that's how he died. My friend that was mad at me in the beginning for not wanting her to go, she came back to me and she said, after, not immediately, but after a while she was like, thank you. Because we never knew what could have happened. It could have been anybody else. We're not happy that he died till tomorrow. Whenever I think about it, it still hurts my heart because that's a destiny and a life that was cut short. He was 16? We were about 16 at that time. That's how a destiny and a life was truncated because of one wrong decision, because of wrong association. So, we should be mindful of the association that we keep. Never get pressured into doing anything that you don't want to do, no matter your age. You could be a teenager. People think only teenagers experience peer pressure. No, even adults, grown ups, people that are way advanced in age, they experience some kind of pressure to do stuff. If it doesn't feel right, if you don't feel good about it, don't do it. Be careful of what you do. And that's all I have to say for right now. We're going to take a short commercial break and play a song, and we'll be right back.
We give you glory. Hallelujah to your holy name. Great and mighty God. We just want to praise you. We want to hail you. We want to adore you. Hey, you paid the price for me. Lay down your life on Calvary. You know they tire for my matter. You always by my side. You know they fail me. Now you they help me. Papa, I throw a salute. My rock, my shelter, constant provider. I will lift you higher. Hey, my Jesus. Ebube, 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 dike. Hey, my Jesus. Ebube, 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 dike. Come on, give it glory. Ebube, 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 dike. Chiamame. Ebube, 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 dike.
You are the first and the last. Ancient of days is your name. You are my strong tower. You are my comforter. Nothing too hard for you. I give you twirly. Your name is Yahweh. Always making a way. You are so powerful. You are so wonderful. Bow before your throne. Hey,
Oh, my Jesus. Ebube, ebube, dike. Ebube, dike. Grandma, dike. He's a mighty warrior. Rose of Sharon. King of glory. I am that I am. Jehovah. Ebube, ebube, dike. Oh, Lord, we hail you. 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 Jesus, we praise you. We give you glory. We lift you high. Higher and higher and higher. And we give you praise. Holy,
we love you, Lord. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you, Lord.
we love you. We love you. We love you. Come on, hail my Jesus. Yes, I can.
Father, we hail you, Jesus.
You swallowed up death in victory.
I say, hail my Jesus. We hail you.
Welcome back to the show. I hope you enjoyed that song. Okay, you just listened to Ebube Dike by yours sincerely, Avantii Uzor. That's one of my songs that God has blessed me with. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you loved it. Definitely share with your friends and family. I'm sure they'll love it. And we're back to the topic for today. Before we went on a short break, if you're just joining us, we've been talking about the power of association. That's what we've been talking about. We're talking about the company you keep, the friends that you're around, the people that are around you, period. So, whether you like it or not, those you spend time with on the regular, they are your association. Those you hang around with, those you go out, to school with, or anywhere you go to it, those are your association. And that's what we've been talking about today. The power of association, the kind of impact association has in your life, in your career, in your home, in whatever, in your school or academics, whatever it is that you're doing, the impact that the kind of association you keep, the impact it has on you. So, I wrote something down here. I said, do an evaluation on yourself and the people you spend the most time with. Check where your life is now in comparison to where your life was before. And then ask yourself these questions. Do you feel you're getting better, or do you feel you're getting worse? Do you feel your values, your morals are getting better, or do you feel it's getting worse? Do you feel there's a moral decline in your life, or do you feel your morals is appreciating, is getting higher? Do you feel your life is improving, the overall quality of your life? Do you feel it's improving or not? Do you feel you're improving intellectually? Do you feel you're improving emotionally? Do you feel you're improving? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. And based on the answer that you give yourself, that will let you know, do I need to reevaluate my association? Do I need to make a change in my association or not? And there's a story that has been coming to my head constantly. It's about an evangelist that I happened to watch his program. I can't remember his name right now. I happened to watch his program that he was ministering. And he said he was privileged to start his business very early in life. He started his business at the age of 18. And before he was 21, he was making millions. He was in Europe. He was making millions of pounds before he was 21. He was making a lot of money because he started his company. And then he said one day he went to the bar to hang around with some friends. And right there when he was in the bar, someone showed him a substance, a white substance, and said, "Have you tried this before?" And he said, "No." And the friend said, "Oh, go ahead and try it." And he said he tried it. And that's how he got hooked on drugs. Before long, he lost his company. He lost everything. He was on ground zero until one day he got locked up because, of course, all the drug dealers were looking for him because, of course, he got into so much debt and he found himself in jail, and then somehow God saved him. He joined the fellowship. He started growing in God and his life got transformed. One friend showed him a white substance and that was it. I know people think it's old-fashioned. It's old-fashioned when you hear people say, "Oh, watch your friends. Be careful of those you hang around with. Be careful of who your friends are." People think it's old-fashioned, but guess what? It's not old-fashioned. There's a popular scripture that has been coming to my heart. The scripture is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. I'm going to say that one more time. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. And I'm sure most of us know what that scripture says. What does it say? It says, "Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners." That's what it says. Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners. And that's what it is. Before that verse, I was wondering today when I was reading it, I'm like, why did Paul say that? Because this is one of the epistles written by the Apostle Paul. I'm like, why did Paul say that? Why he said that is this. In verse 32 he said, If after the manner of men, if after the manner of men, I have fought with beasts at Ephesus, what what advantage what advantaged it me? I'm reading the King James Version, oh my God. If the dead rise not. This is the last phrase I want to focus on. It said, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. So pretty much some people in the in the scriptures were saying, let's enjoy our life. Let's eat. Let's drink. Let's have fun. Because we might die tomorrow and we'll enjoy life. And that's why Paul said, don't be deceived. Evil communication corrupt good manners. That's what it is. Don't pay attention to people who tell you, it's okay. It might work for them. It just might not work for you. And that's why I was saying, let's do an evaluation, okay? Let's do it this way. Do an evaluation of yourself and the people you spend the most time with. I'm reading this from my notes. Check where your life is now in comparison to where it was before. Do you feel you're getting better? Do you feel you're making progress? Or do you feel you're getting worse? Do you feel your morals are getting better? Or do you think there's a moral decline in your life? Do you think you're more motivated now than you were before? Or do you feel unmotivated and just feel, no drive? Do you feel like you've lost your drive and your passion? It may be as a result of where you find yourself, the people you spend the most time with. We have some people that are optimistic, and we have some people that are pessimists. Like, if you give them a good, like my friend says, they have a talent for finding the bad in every good. And in the same vein, we have people who that's their gift. They know how to find the good in every bad. Those are the people you want to spend your time with, most of your time with, so they can rub off on you. You can learn to be optimistic. You can learn to be excited and have a drive and a passion about life. I'm going to share another story with you. I know I like telling stories, but that's just my way of communicating. So I was at the Georgia Aquarium a couple of days ago, right? And I found these beautiful butterflies in the aquarium in like a little showcase. Really pretty, and I went to go, read about them because I was drawn by their colors and their beauty. And on getting close, I saw like 3 species out of the butterflies were species that I grew up playing with. I remember as a child I used to love playing with butterflies, try and catch them, put them in a little container, just for the fun of it. And I saw them being celebrated at the Georgia Aquarium. I'm like, oh my God, I grew up with these butterflies in Nigeria and they're celebrities in America. Isn't that something? So nothing was wrong with the butterflies when they were back home. I just looked at them as regular butterflies, nothing to them, played with them, But here in the United States, in Georgia Aquarium, guess what? Those same butterflies are celebrities. We had a lot of people looking at them, taking pictures. It was really funny. And right there and then I thought to myself, that look, nothing is wrong with these butterflies. It was just their environment. So they were always beautiful. They were always stars. They were always bright. But back home, they were just regular butterflies. Here, they're looked at as something more than just an ordinary butterfly. So could it be that there's something in you? You might have a dream or passion or something that God has deposited in you, because every one of us have giftings and talents and great grace that's been deposited on the inside of us by God. Could it be you're not thriving or you're not growing in it because you're not around the right people that could light the fire that is inside of you? So right now I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling that way, no worries. I have the perfect solution for you. Do you know the best person that you can be around that will totally ignite your life and make you shine? That person is God. All you need to do is spend time with God. How do you spend time with God? By His Word. Look into the Word. Listen to good sermons. Listen to worship music or Christian music. When you spend time and you hang around God, you get to see things about yourself that you didn't know you were. Your eyes get to be open to how awesome you are. Because guess what? You are awesome. Awesome. My friend would say, awesome sauce. You're awesome. And one of my favorite scriptures of all times is Philippians 4:13, where it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's what I want to leave you with today, on today's episode of Monday Motivations. You are great. You are awesome. You're blessed. You can be who you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. Yes, you can get that degree. Yes, you can get that master's degree. Yes, you can get that doctorate degree. Yes, you can start that business. Yes, you can be a supermodel if that's what you want to be. Who says you can't start your business? Who says you cannot start up your own company and be a success? You can do anything and be anything you want to be. Just make sure that you open your eyes and look around you. There are people who are doing what you want to do already. There are people who are succeeding in that field you want to get into already. Go and spend time with them. Learn from them. You will definitely get motivated and inspired. Until I see you again next week, it's your girl, Avantii Uzor. I want to let you know that you're loved and you're blessed. I can't wait to spend time with you again next week. God bless you. And we're going to sign off with another song from Michael W. Smith. Love you. See you next week. Bye.